Sagoli, and greetings and welcome back to the Iroquois Oneida History Channel. My name is Antonio Doxter, and today I want to talk about the Oneida and the Mohican Wars. In 1609, Henry Hudson from Holland sailed up a river, which was later named the Hudson River, and the Oneida people called the Scunny Duddy, or along the pines. In 1614, the Dutch established Fort Orange, a center of trade. And in 1618, a treaty was established between the Dutch and the Haudenosaunee called the Two-Row Wampum Belt, and it signified friendship and trade and showed two rows of purple side by side, and that both would travel the river of life together, but neither would interfere with their systems. In 1621, the Dutch West Indian Company was formed and the New Netherlands colony was founded. Because the Mohicans were located on both sides of the Hudson River at the time, they were most able to take advantage of the trade with the Dutch and also charge a fee for other tribes to trade with the Dutch and to pass through their lands. This eventually ignited a war between the Mohawk, Oneidas, and the Mohicans over the control of the trade and the obtaining of firearms. The Oneidas called the Mohicans the Lonutsakana, or people of the mist, because of their location along the river. By 1628, the Mohicans had lost and formed a peace with the Mohawks, Oneidas, Haudenosaunee. But by the 1660s, the war had reignited over trade. In 1664, the English took control over Fort Orange and renamed it Albany. And so separate treaties were made between the Haudenosaunee and the English. But because of this, it started a war. And in 1664, the Mohicans killed Mohawk peace representatives who had come to form a peace treaty with them. And in 1667, the French Jesuit at Oneida said that the Mohicans menaced the Oneida, so they were officially at war together. In 1669, 50 Mohicans were killed by the Mohawk Oneidas along the Hudson River. So this definitely was a time of war between the two. On February 5th, 1670, the French Jesuit wrote that 14 Oneida warriors were seeking Mohicans hunting near Montreal. But by 1673, the Mohicans and Mohawks were officially at peace again. And in 1675, it was noted that the Mohicans called the Mohawks uncle. So it sounded like they were officially adopted as younger brothers into the Great Law of Peace. I thought it was interesting. There was a story by a Mohican historian that said, the Stockbridge lived along the Hudson River, and during this time, the Oneida renegade would come and watch these Stockbridge women as they would come to the fields, and whenever they found any, they would kill them and cut their heads off and hang them on poles or out in the field, and that would cause trouble. The Mohicans would see the Oneida chiefs to make peace and good for the deeds those men had done. They would replace the women that they had killed. The Oneidas told them that they were to keep their word of peace good, and that was why they had done this, a peace that had been made many years before between the Oneidas and the Stockbridges. Another story says, a long while ago, the Oneidas called the Stockbridges sturgeons, and they used to go hunting a long way off, and they only left a few old people in the camps. The Oneidas were on the warpath to fight the Indians. They said they were going to hunt sturgeon. The Oneida came and captured the women and children and killed the old ones. The Oneidas took them to their country to make prisoners of them. The Stockbridge Indian hunters came home and found their homes all desolate and their families all gone. They held a council of war, and then they got ready, prepared for war. When they came into Oneida country, they found that the Oneidas had 3 forts built, and their scouts went in and found where those prisoners were. We are going to kill the rattlesnakes. That's what the Oneidas were called. Then they fought there and recaptured their men, women, and children. So I don't know if this took place during the 1620 war or in the 1660s. By 1680, the Mohicans had relocated from the area to Stockbridge, Massachusetts. So they had completely left the trade and control of the Haudenosaunee people. They later made peace, and in 1784, the Mohicans or what they were called now the Stockbridge, were adopted by the Oneidas as younger brothers, and in 1786 began moving to Oneida lands that were given to them. The Oneidas had granted them 6 square miles, which encompassed 23,000 acres along present-day New Stockbridge, Munnsville, and Stockbridge Falls, New York. So they had a great peace between them then, and they lived similar lifestyles. Both had fought for the side of the Americans during the Revolutionary War, and in the 1820s, both had left the state of New York for Michigan Territory and what became Wisconsin. So we definitely have been allies ever since, and a lot of intermarriages taken place between the Stockbridge and the Oneida. Many Oneida have Stockbridge blood also. So I wanted to share. Please like, comment, and subscribe, and I would appreciate that. See you next time. Yawanko Nagiwa.